Starlink is semi-controversial, right? Because on one hand, people think it's great that you're going to provide the internet through these satellites that are flying around.
Sure.
But astronomers and a lot of people that are, amateur astronomers, are like,
It's mostly the amateurs. I mean, there's and we've talked with the professional astronomers and assuaged their concerns.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the amateurs are pissed.
Yeah, they're like, they don't know what they're talking about. The pro level guys, they know what they're talking about. We'll make sure that this is not like an obstacle to science. So,
What the obstacle would be the visual aspect of it, right? The seeing these things flying around, that would be it?
yeah, honestly, it's pretty hard to find our satellites. Once they've reached orbit, it's hard to find them. And we have trouble finding our satellites. We're like, oh, we got like...
But I've seen pictures of them.
yeah. Well, first of all, so during the initial... Like, when they get tossed out of the rocket, briefly, they were tumbling. Mm-hmm. And so when they're tumbling, they'll twinkle. And then you'll see them.
Oh, so this was just the initial...
Yeah, it's just the initial...
orbit.
They just got tossed out of the... with alpha stage deploys. The way we deploy them... We don't even really have a separation mechanism. You can see the video online, but we kind of tie them down like a bundle of hay, and then we let go of the rods that are holding this big bundle of satellites down. But before that, we rotate the stage. So the stage is rotating, and the satellites get just like if you took a deck of cards and they all get thrown out because they have different amounts of rotational inertia. So.
And what kind of bandwidth are these going to provide?
Oh, so yeah, I mean, I think long term we're talking about gigabit level.
Really?
Yeah, gigabit low latency. So you could play like a fast twitch video game, download a movie super fast. It'd be great.
And this is going to be global?
Yeah.
And is it global by the satellites that you've already launched initially, or will it require a series of satellites in different parts of the country or different parts of the world?
Well, these satellites are actually zooming around the Earth at 25 times the speed of sound. And there's currently 36 planes, so they're I mean, to the satellite feels like it's going in a circle, but the Earth's rotating underneath the satellite. So the ground track looks like a sine wave. So if you look at like from the ground perspective, the satellite's doing this like sine wave with a peak at 53 degrees. And then there's 36 planes, so they're all doing like a sine wave, just offset by a little bit. But like I said, like space is real big, so they're not in danger of whacking it into each other. It's super big up there. They don't really even get close. So anyway, so they're zooming around Earth. We got a lot of coverage around 53 degrees, and then we just started to launch some polar satellites, which will go have an orbital inclination that allows them to kind of go have visibility to the poles, almost,
Who the fuck is that for? Just in case?
I mean, there's people that live up there,
I guess a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Antarctic Research Station.
Okay. So they're going to have internet access. It's
They
can play Halo up there.
Yeah, they're going to go from having trash for internet to having incredible internet.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it'll be the whole world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, everywhere on Earth will have high bandwidth, low latency internet.
And will you be able to increase the bandwidth over time through software?
There's a lot that can be improved with software, but I should say that there's going to be a role for many different types of connectivity. So Starlink is great for low to medium population density, but the satellites are actually not great for high density urban. So you're actually better off having 5G for that.
Really?
Yeah. Because the thing is, that satellite's pretty far away.
Right.
So you got that satellite. It's over 500 kilometers away, even if it's right above you. On a slant distance, it's like could be, upwards of 1,000 kilometers away. So
this would be fantastic for rural areas.
Yeah. It will provide some amount of connectivity in in dense urban environments, but
Equivalent to like what, 3G?
no, it's more like, so think of like basically like what's the spot size of a satellite? Like when it's putting a beam down in a location, and how big is that beam? And that's so it's got a certain amount of bandwidth for that beam, and that beam is just like, it's a pretty big, like think of it like a flashlight or something.
Right, and what is
Okay,
it?
it's the same thing. It's just
It reaches a few blocks? Or?
like if you had a flashlight up there and you're pointing down, it's like, okay, you're going to illuminate an area.
Right.
So a flashlight's just shooting out photons in the visible spectrum. We're shooting out photons in the KUK band. Much bigger wavelength than visible light. So anyway, so these things. So we got a bunch of spot beams basically. But these beams are giant by cellular standards. Like they might be, several miles diameter on that beam. So then you got, say for argument's sake, 10-mile diameter, 16-kilometer diameter beam. This is a lot of area. And all those terminals in that area will get the same information because it's got that beam that's just going down to that spot. So, whereas you could have like a 5G tower that's the ones that aren't causing corona.
Kidding.
5G causes corona. It's a fact.
Oh my God. Have you seen any of that stuff? That's one of the most disturbing things about the internet. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I mean, when technology is magic, then you don't know what to believe.
Right. And when you're a moron, you believe anything.
Well, let's say, so a cell tower could have a range of, a mile or, mile / 1.5 kilometers. It basically could have like 1% the area of a satellite beam. So, like, if you had something that was, a 1 mile or if I can say kilometer, or 10, it's going to be the square of that. That is the area. So, satellites are great for low to medium density. 5G is ideal for high density.
I see.
Yeah.
And also because you could distribute the towers